I saw 75 harpists playing at the same time at a concert from a festival, and my mother took me to see it, and I just loved the harp. And you know, all of the women were in beautiful dresses, and it sounded gorgeous, and that's what I wanted to do. Yeah, any instrument is hard work. You have to do it. You have to keep doing it, you know, and practicing. It's the only way. There's no shortcut. I've played professionally for 60 years. Elisa Dickin, harpist. I don't know. I don't have any other title.
Some of these days
we don't know who Claudia Thompson is.
You'll miss me, honey.
Ethically and morally, it's, you know, frustrating.
Some of these days.
That was the music industry, unfortunately.
For 60 years, jazz lovers knew Claudia Thompson's soul album by one image: a blonde woman on a California beach. Until a Virginia woman found negatives from that album cover photo shoot in a thrift shop.
I feel so low.
There were two women photographed, one white and one black. A viral post and a national search revealed a note and a photo from the real Claudia Thompson, the one in the red dress, left off the album cover.
When you go away.
They wanted the voice, but they just didn't want the image.
Thompson remains a mystery. Details of her life beyond this record lost to time. Lena Dawes, a music journalist, says Thompson's pure tone could have convinced music executives to use the white model's photo to make the record more palatable to the masses.
Since my man and I.
Thompson didn't sound like Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, or other prominent black artists.
So instead of that racial inflection, what she did is there was a lot of emotion, there was a lot of sadness in her voice, but I wondered if that was, you know, hinting to kind of this personality that we don't know anything about simply because of how the album was marketed.
The discovery found its way to record label Modern Harmonic, the now owners of Thompson's Goodbye to Love album.
I got the chills. Took it for granted. We assumed that, you know, why wouldn't it be the woman on the cover?
They decided to re-release the album.
Some of these days.
This time with Claudia's photos and liner notes explaining the story written by Lena Dawes.
It was just exciting to do, and we love when we can help do the right thing and maybe correct some, you know, missteps from the past.
Jazz is often full of the unexpected, with twists and turns of stories and sound. For Claudia Thompson, we wonder what might have been.
But who knows? I mean, it really could have been a completely different story had she actually been on the cover of the original release.
She could have been, we don't know what she could have been, but she could have been a star.
Evan Watson, reporting for 13 News Now.
At 9 o'clock that morning, I went upstairs to wake her up. And when I walked in there, it just, like she had stuff coming out of her nose, coming out of her mouth. I shook her, but she was stiff.
And when a mom talks about the death of her child, you listen.
Every morning I still walk past and look into her room as if she's gonna be there. maybe that will change, but probably not.
Michaela's room, just as the 16-year-old left it, adorned with symbols of her success as an athlete, draped with hope, pointing towards what would have been a bright future.
She wanted to go to UVA, and then she wanted to be a lawyer.
But somehow, what's killing thousands of Americans made its way to Michaela's possession, disguised as something she knew.
I found out that she had at least tried Xanax or Percocet.
But packing a deadly punch.
It was pure fentanyl.
Police found what looked like opioids, blue pills, in her bed.
They are creating a completely new pill that they're marketing as a legitimate prescribed painkiller, but in fact it contains fentanyl. It is killing by the thousands.
I take a deep breath and I talk to myself. You can do it. You are good at this. I've worked hard for this.
Mia Williams trains hard to be the best.
I'm a girl, and girls get underestimated a lot. When I started jiu-jitsu, I started to really love it, and then I started doing wrestling, and then I fell in love with it too.
A love for athletics runs deep.
My dad was an NFL player, and every time I'm like working and I'm like tired and hurting, he reminds me that even if you're tired, you have to keep going to get better.
Everything that I accomplished in my years of playing football, you know what, it's out the window because it's her time.
He knows she's a star.
Mia is a great child, very nourishing, very kind, but she is an animal on the mat.
And she has the medals to prove it.
I've won the girls folk style state title, the boys folk style state title, the girls freestyle state title, the boys freestyle state title, and the Greco-Roman state title. And I've won 2 nationals. And in jiu-jitsu, I've won 2 world championships.
Those are just a few of the big ones. She started doing this early on.
I started doing it at 7 years old.
Tell us how old you are.
10.
Just a kid, but a 10-year-old kid with drive.
If you win a bunch of medals, you're gonna have targets on your back. Can't give them empathy, you're gonna just blast them.
At tournaments, her mom Jamie and dad Michael watch with pride.
Okay, you got everybody behind you. They're cheering you on. You can win this match.
It's not often that you see Mia lose.
Don't be scared of it. Watch your head outside.
I'm a fighter. I can do this.
It is very rare as a 10-year-old to have that kind of mentality and push.
Her coaches know Mia is special.
She has the whole package, you know.
Whatever the girl says she's gonna do, she goes out and makes it happen.
And people take notice.
I'm the only girl in the room, and maybe I can inspire other girls to join me.
She recognizes the way some look at her on the mat.
So I can see them like smile, and it makes me feel like I'm getting underestimated. Now it makes me feel like I have to go even harder.
And hard work pays off.
They're raising my hand and feel like I accomplish a goal every time.
Goals are Mia's motivators.
Going to the Olympics is my goal that I've set for myself in the future.
Visualizing it.
I picture me on the top of the medal stand.
Those behind her support the vision.
You will see me in the Olympics.
But she knows it's more than medals.
When I grow older, I feel like I'm gonna be inspiring a lot of girls.
She's doing that even now.
I'm just like 10 years old. They don't know what's coming in the future, like what I can be in the future.
So, remember the name, Mia Williams.
With a good map, highway navigation can be very simple. Next time you travel.
History in the Black community, it's not red brick and white columns. It's part of lived experience, it's part of memory.
The more we read and know what we have, the value of what we have, then we can use our voices.
History lives on as long as someone cares enough to keep it alive. But history always runs the risk of fading away.
We have folks, living people that remember these places very intimately.
It's not demolished or anything like that, but over the years it's becoming to
fall down.
To passing drivers, these broken windows along Route 17 are possibly an afterthought. But many, like Mary and Randall, still remember when this place was the place to be.
Host with the most, I just went to socialize,
This is what's left of the W.J. Stokes Tavern, a thriving Gloucester County watering hole in the mid-1900s. Once a safe haven for African Americans.
I'm not a good dancer, no. I love listening to the music. And like I said, it was a social, hey, how you doing, Robert? Hey, Mary.
This property is one of about 300 across Virginia that once appeared in the Green Book.
It was the most prolific and longest running travel guide specifically for African Americans.
In this century, America has become a nation on wheels.
The Green Book, first published by Victor Hugo Green in 1936, ran for roughly 3 decades as a guide for African Americans to safely travel during segregation.
It was a real achievable goal to essentially circumvent that discriminatory system.
Most of these sites in Hampton Roads are lost pieces of history and unrecognizable in the places they once stood. They were places of refuge that are now either fading away or already lost. There are more than 100 Green Book locations across the Tidewater region, but according to catalogs from University of Virginia research, roughly 85% of them are either demolished or their status is unknown.
You'll see from in front here, the floor is practically gone.
Tim Roberts is the outreach coordinator for the Virginia Department of Historic Resources. He's one of several stakeholders working to preserve the Stokes Tavern, knowing it's one of the few locations still standing in some way.
He said back over here, you had the Friars, here's the beer cooler, no pun intended. This is a heavy lift, the sort of imminent risk of loss through a big snowfall.
Is it hard to see the tavern in the condition that it is?
Yes, it is. It is. That was really a type of monument for us black people.
Many share the story of 2208 Marshall Avenue.
Who would have thought right here would have been we call it Airbnb now.
Jerry Spruce never thought much of the now demolished house next door until her curious mind stumbled across its past.
I was like, what? I was like, I'm 8. That was 6. Okay, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, we're famous. Since we don't know, then they kind of just push over.
But there is still time to save the ones still standing, like the Stokes Tavern, as long as someone cares enough to keep it that way.
People are literally coming out of the woodworks to say, it's about time that this history is recognized, and boy, do I have a story for you.
I've worn several hats, from coach, mentor, to behavior specialist, to court officer, to substitute teacher, to entrepreneur, social entrepreneur as well.
Suddenly, a father is faced with having to tell the world who his child really was.
Donovan was on the same path.
Telling Donovan's story means understanding from whom he came.
Thank you, Jesus. Our faith was always a big part of everything that we did. So he carried on that legacy of that. It's the foundation of my family. Since I was a little boy, my parents were Christian, and we went to church, Sunday school, vacation Bible study, service. So it was a big part of my life coming up. On our way to Faith World Ministry. Morning, young man. How you doing today? God bless you. Good morning, good morning. How are you? God bless you.
Donovan's church family, where his father is vice chair of the deacon board and his cousin, Bishop Ezekiel Williams, leads the congregation.
He gives us the strength to get through.
So here we are at Red Wing Park in Virginia Beach, full of foliage and scenery, but a great day for golf. 15 years ago, Honor Remember was established to become a national symbol recognizing our fallen military and their families. And today, really for the first time, we have established a fundraising event, our first inaugural charity golf tournament. Thanks for everything.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate
You're welcome.
it.
Happy to be part of it.
We have over 80 golfers that are participating and 23 sponsors. Go, over. Oh, almost. My sacrifice, my son Tony was killed in Iraq in 2005, and really out of the process of grief realized that there are so many men and women, or families out there that really aren't thought about. And so it is important that we all recognize the importance of remembering. But I think once in a while it's important to understand and realize that there is an individual that put their life on the line and gave their life. Help us send that message of remembrance to all those families who gave their loved ones for our freedom.